Joe presents Liquid Football.
Hello, welcome to Liquid Football on Joe. It's the show that puts you inside the dressing room and in the boots of the players. Joining me this week, Steve Sidwell and former Aston Villa, West Ham and Wales defender James Collins. Have you both been all right with Ciara? With the storms? Have you been all right?
Yeah.
All right,
Any wheelie bin damage? Any kind of...
I blew my hair about a little bit.
A couple of trees went down my way, but yeah, now it was all good.
All good.
I had a game of football in it yesterday as well, which was interesting.
Well, your game went ahead then.
It did.
There's only 3 Premier League matches over the weekend, which is... Yeah. It's not the winter break, it is the mid-season player break that we have to call it properly now. And there was meant to be a fourth, of course, because Man City against West Ham was postponed because of the storm. Do you, if that's happening, and the forecast is for really bad weather as the week's going on, are you thinking might have a Saturday off here?
It depends what the weather is, isn't it? If it's just rain, and it's just like literally going to just be just drenched everywhere. You're rubbing around together thinking this is going to be a proper game of football now. This is a leveler. If I slide tackle, we're going to go straight across the grass.
I used to love playing in the wet because I wasn't the quickest, and it gave you an extra 5 yards on the slide tackle. Didn't it? So,
but if it's that cold warm up, you're going to just go out.
I don't think I've ever had one called off for wind.
Yeah, no, wind's been I've never had a game called off for wind.
Never.
I've had one called off with snow, and obviously surrounding areas around the stadium, but not for the wind. I mean, that game that I played yesterday was unbelievable. Worst I've ever played. Well, the balls were going up, it was just going up, and away. Literally, if you was on one side of the pitch and you played a channel ball, it ended up on the other side.
Keeper takes a goal kick and he pretty much catch the ball where it's blown back into his.
There's the famous one of the corner, isn't there, where it goes off and then it comes straight back to the player. Like
the thing is, imagine that I'm playing vet football and we're trying to play out. We're trying to play out from the back. We can't kick it high. We got the other one's the new rule. We can go in the 6-yard box. Some of them didn't even know the rule.
I didn't know it a couple of months back when I played it.
I was like, go in the box, get it. I was like, I can't go in the box. I was like, you can.
But it can take, you can actually get quite late notice for it, can't you? Like you think it's going to be, you're building up through the week, you're looking at it, you think, well, this Storm Ciara has been signposted everywhere. There's a chance that there's going to be some disruption. And for fans as well, trying to get from West Ham to Manchester, they'll probably actually be on their way for that one. But it can go right down to the wire as well.
Yeah. The shortest one I've had was at Norwich. And we expected this blizzard snowstorm to come in, and we went out, we warmed up, and it was freezing cold, and it wasn't snowing during at the start, then it started during, and then it got really heavy towards the end. So we've gone in at 10 to 3, quarter to 3. As we've gone in, we're getting ready, stripped, ready to rock and roll. Buzzer goes, game's off. I was like, what? And I go, have a look at the pitch, and we went out, and there was just 2 inches solid on the grass.
Oh my God.
And we was all stripped off already, deep heat, the lot.
I had one at Arsenal a few years back, Boxing Day, called off, which was probably the best the best game ever.
Was that on the day?
Christmas night, maybe, because we would have been in a hotel and then you get the phone call.
Happy days.
Back on, finish the dinner off.
That's perfect. Yeah. It's one of those where all the players have to go around and pretend they look really gutted about it.
You're straight on the phone. I'm on the way back.
Everybody else is like, oh no, we've made plans without you now. We're getting on with that. What do you do though for games? I mean, Christmas Day and Boxing Day. I mean, there's plenty to occupy your time. But if you've got, do they get you in for training if it's called off in advance or if it's
no?
They just go home.
I remember at Villa. I'm sure it was. We were up in a hotel in Blackburn, and it got called off for snow. And we got back to Birmingham, and Martin trained us that day, Saturday afternoon.
Wow,
maybe you weren't. Yeah, it definitely did that a couple of times. A game called off and gone back and trained because more often than not, you got the Sunday off after a game. So if you want your Sunday off, you've got to go and
put the work in on the Saturday.
I don't know if it's good to be called off or not. But
after the Norwich game, then you're all sitting there. What do you say with all your deep heat on? And all the guys?
Literally, it was 5 to 3. I was stripped, ready, and socks.
What'd you do then?
Full kit, wankered up.
You get away with it.
Literally had a shower because obviously when I done a warm up, so you jumped in the shower and then headed back home, and it was like then you're thinking, shit, I'll go back to Norwich on a Tuesday night. It's like, oh dear me.
Already made the journey, already been there and then. Playing in those conditions, like your vets playing in those conditions, it's bad. If, like you said, you both enjoyed playing. If it was going to be really rainy, and if it was going to be cold and it was going to be muddy and everything, then that's good fun. But playing in that wind, like you said. No. You can't predict anything.
Do you know what it was yesterday? I found, have you got dogs? Have you ever had dogs?
Yeah.
So you don't let a dog out for a wee when it's really windy. They just get frisky and they just go out and their ears start going. People might be able to know this listening. They go out and they just start running around the garden and you start watching and you go, he's going to come in and go, and the dog comes in and just goes. That's what it was like. It was like 22 geezers yesterday, all horny and just like in the wind, just going crazy. There was yellow cards, there was red cards, it was mad.
I think it's the worst thing to play in wind. I'd play in anything apart from wind.
Yeah,
absolutely
everyone says
kills
that.
the game.
Yeah.
Oh, Stoke away. Every time. It seemed to me every time.
It's because of the
Go up
gap
to
in the
Stoke.
front of the main
Exactly
stand,
that,
isn't it?
yeah,
They can't,
exactly. It's always seemed to be howling wind up there and you're just thinking straight away,
And you seem to play into that wind first half and
it's always
second
tough
half.
anyway going to Stoke against them boys. You get up there, you'd have a couple of the foreign teammates, you could see straight away they didn't fancy it, do you know what I mean? And it was tough, but I always remember Stoke being windy, long grass and just straight away.
Yeah, I was at Stoke. Was it Portsmouth? I think always used to be really windy as well. I used to feel like there was. I think maybe because it's by the sea. I don't know. I don't know. That's the extent of my geography knowledge. But the playing in those conditions and playing in the wet and the rain like that. That's what you looked forward to. Like not the wind and stuff. But do you have an advantage then because you enjoy it? Like you said, that you look around and there'll be some of your teammates who'll be going, "Oh, I'm cold, and I don't fancy that. I don't want to go in for a tackle in this."
I think me and City were similar sort of players in that we're always short sleeves. You know what I mean? No undergarments or nothing like that, and
no gloves.
No gloves.
But just like licking your lips, thinking, I can't wait to get sliding on that.
To wear a pair of gloves playing football.
Yeah.
It's just I think that's just the way we are, I suppose, and then. Couldn't wait to get stuck in.
But then you look at some other players in the dressing room, you can think, no, he don't fancy it. He definitely don't fancy it.
5-3 sat on the radiator still. It's like, nah, he don't fancy it at all.
That won't change as well.
Yeah.
That'll keep going.
Yeah.
So what's the latest you've ever had? What's the latest notice you ever had for a game? Because you were at the Norwich one where you'd literally come in.
Norwich,
and just gone, you'd had that one. What was the latest you ever got a game called off?
We had a game. City was at Villa with me. On a Monday. This game isn't meant to be on. So I had my family up in Birmingham. A couple of glasses of red wine with dinner, thinking it's going to be a quiet day. I think we had the heads up there was going to be a down day. A couple more glasses of red wine, obviously, with the family, and then go into training Monday, and Martin O'Neill had put a game on. So I wasn't hungover. I was still pretty drunk, thinking I would be in the gym or whatever. Anyway, so Martin's come in, right, there's a game on. If you want to play, you can, but everyone's got to play or no one's playing. So all the boys are like, look, Ginge can't play a game. It's like against Lincoln, I think it was, in a friendly. It wasn't meant to be on.
Yeah.
Like, this is impossible. Like, it is impossible for him to have a game of football, by the way.
But Nigel Reo-Coker's keen. The game's on. So it was frozen and icy and it was a low sun and I'm obviously not feeling tip-top form, should I say. And I remember it, first goal kick, balls come up, low sun. So I'm sort of shielding the sun, icy pitch, horrendous. And the goalkeepers took a goal kick and the ball just hit me straight in the face from about 60 yards away. And I'm looking at City thinking, I think I got dragged off 20 minutes later.
Could you even feel anything?
No.
When the ball hit you in the face?
Yeah, it wasn't great. He probably remembers it better than me.
But the thing is, two things about that. In the warm-up, we're warming up and we're going, right, boys, just keep the ball away from Ginge.
Yeah.
Listen, like, if they start attacking down his side, just get around him, just cover it, like just shielding someone.
I think you gave me a ball 5 minutes in now.
Yeah, I did have a wrong one, didn't I? And then the second thing was he come off and no one was none the wiser.
Yeah.
I think he just come off and he was like, I just got a sore calf. And the gaffer was like, oh, get yourself in. And he went in, but no one knew.
Yeah.
But that was
the
funny.
game. Let's talk about games being off. That game I don't know if it should have been off.
Oh, it was never planned.
It was never planned.
Yeah,
It was never planned. It was on Monday morning. So obviously I wouldn't have done that if knowing there was a game.
of course.
But it should have been called off.
Yeah.
But that feeling of going in, thinking, do you know what? We've got a nice, quiet day ahead of us. I don't feel great, but I'll be fine. And then the manager goes, so everybody, we've got a game ahead.
Jacuzzi.
We're missing a big component of this story that your big teammate centre half was dipping you in the ice bath, wasn't he? Before to wake you up.
Before the game. So the game's on. I've got to play. There's no getting out of it. Big Richard, then I was obviously close with, has gone, oh, what can we do here? Like, he needs a bit of help. He literally had me in the ice bath, dunking me in and out. It sounds mad to say, but it was,
like a tea bag.
Yeah. He was that big, he could have done it.
I baptise you to play in this game. Let's go. Well, look.
You'll need all the help you can get, basically.
I think about what the Lincoln players must have been thinking. I was playing in the Premier League, like, obviously, Aston Villa's first choice centre half at the time. There was can't remember. It was around Christmas, obviously, and there was no game on. So
I think their game must have been called off, and we must have had one of ours.
I must stress that this game was never meant to be on.
No, we've got that. You're not going to turn up the Premier League weekend just like that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a regular occurrence.
When you played in Moscow,
CSKA Moscow, yeah.
How cold was that?
That was -14. Got to -10 at half time, and then it finished up -14.
Oh my God!
And that was the coldest I've ever been. And I remember actually being on the coach.
Did you wear layers then?
The warm up. No, do you know what? I don't have Under Armour on as well, because my dad was old school. He was like, if I ever see you with Under Armour or gloves, I was like, right, I'll never do that then.
Yeah.
And
you're not allowed to be warm.
Oh yeah, you just can't be warm. But I remember warming up, and I must have had like 5 jumpers, overcoat, snood, hat, glove, done everything for the warm up, and then thinking, as I'm warming up, thinking, in literally half an hour, I'm coming out in shorts and t-shirt.
Probably better off going out in the warm-up with nothing on, just to sort of like acclimatise a little bit. Get yourself used to it. But
yeah, we lost 2-0 as well. It was it wasn't a good experience, that.
And the worst thing is if you come in and they go, right, everyone ice bath.
Yeah, we needed that. Just jump in the snow.
Never going to happen. One of the few Premier League games that did happen, Everton's win over Crystal Palace at Goodison. Jordan Pickford blamed for Crystal Palace's equaliser in that game. But it's the way he's reacted to it that has made the headlines, rather than the mistake, which after all, Everton went on to win the game, so it kind of gets a bit lost in the match reports. But he said everyone hates you for some reason. That's part of being an England player. I think the press and everybody, the punters, look at Gary Neville. He said they want to come for England players. Is it fair to say that the England players get a harder time? And do they get a hard time when they're playing for their clubs as well?
Yeah, I can see where he's coming from in terms of when England players play for England on international duty, they can get pelters, which, against like the Icelandic one, that, could be called for. But I don't see it in the Premier League. I don't see they're different, like them getting different treatment to other Premier League players. I mean, when someone's had a bad game, they have a bad game, and the pundits say so. They're not sit on the fence. I think with Pickford as well, he has a little nibble, doesn't he? He has a nibble every
sometimes
time.
It's best not to say anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you start saying stuff, they seem to get you on you a bit more. And I was saying, you look back to Wales 2016 when we went to the Euros, there was nothing, no bad press about us. No, we sort of went under the radar and obviously got to the semi-finals. But we remember being in camp and just reading these story after story about the England players. Weren't happy with the training ground. Do you know what I mean? The hotel, and sort of, as Welsh players, we didn't get any of that. And I think England players probably do get especially leading up to tournaments, and because their expectations up there that they're going to get to the final or win it, I think they do get unfair criticism sometimes.
What were you thinking when you were reading that?
Yeah, we were quite happy. I'm not going to lie to you. I think you all see the video about where they actually did get knocked out against Iceland, and obviously we sort of went about our business under the radar, and it helped us eventually, because obviously we got further than England.
But it feels like it's goalkeepers in particular, isn't it? Because England have had a run of goalkeepers who've come in for criticism, or maybe have made mistakes quite early in their England career, which they're going to do, but they're the ones in the spotlight.
Yeah, Joe Hart was on, wasn't he, as well?
I worked with Joe obviously at West Ham, and he just generally used to just get a dog's life off the press. The nicest fella you'll ever meet in football, probably. Joe works hard, but in the press he just used to get pelters constantly, especially even more when he played for England. And he's 80 odd caps. It's crazy. Don't get it.
But he seems like a character who can deal with that better than maybe, I don't know Jordan Pickford, but Jordan Pickford seems to be a player who's taken things to heart in this sense. So he's singling out Gary Neville and saying, when we were all sitting trying to remember what it was he might have said that was critical of it. I mean, people will criticise, but that was so bad that it would stick in the memory. But some players are just more sensitive to criticism than others.
And the thing is, he has made a few ricks, and obviously with a keeper, they're the last port of call. When they make a mistake, it does go in the net. And I think with this is maybe a bit of a build-up with Pickford, and because it's getting close now to the tournament in the summer.
There's lots of praise of Dean Henderson.
Spotlight on him now, and I think he's thinking, hold on a minute, whoa. But
he seems like, I don't know Jordan at all. He seems like the fella that would read everything. Everything that's written about him, he's reading it. It could be 20 good articles, what a good goalkeeper he is, and one bad bit, and he'd take the bad bit out of it and affect him, or feel like he's got to come out and justify himself, if you like.
But how many players have we seen in our dressing rooms where after a game, we've said it before on the shows, haven't we? As soon as they get on the coach, they're on their phones reading reports, looking at Twitter.
Marks out of 10.
Yeah.
People used to...
So like people, they it's a strange one, because you don't want to read it, but you do want to read it. And then when you get back...
So that's how they get... A lot of players used to get their praise from. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like reading it in the paper. If it read in the paper, I did well. They think they did well. It's not
But
always
the problem
the case.
is, if you take the praise, then you have to give
Yeah,
equal
of
weight
course.
to the criticism as well,
Exactly.
and vice versa. I think.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. If you give any of the commentary too much weight,
Yeah.
then it can start to affect you. Can you deal with that? Like, can you learn not to react to it in that way, or do you just have to not read stuff if you don't want to feel those emotions?
Yeah, you just got to be thick-skinned.
But can you learn to be thick-skinned?
You can. I think you actually become accustomed to it. I think the majority of players just become, as they start going through and the profile of, the personal life and stuff like that, they just become accustomed to it and they become thick-skinned. Some more than others. Some still don't like it. Some will have a nibble. Some don't like it. Some won't read absolutely nothing. Some will read everything and laugh it off. Everyone is kind of different. But, I mean, that's the talk now about a lot of the psychological side of it, and how many people are working inside the football clubs to help players
deal with it.
Because of, obviously, say the instant access you've got now to phones and reports.
Social media, with the reports being on social media, it's a lot more out there for players to read. And like Siddy said, I've known players straight in after the final whistle looking at Twitter or Instagram to see what people are saying about it.
It's not even the because you're trying to think about this from a human being's perspective, but also knowing that if you're on Twitter, for example, if someone makes a mistake, your mentions must just absolutely fly through. But at the same time, we're all guilty of sharing them, going, "Oh my God, this is hilarious," and retweeting. But you forget, don't you, that there's a person on the end of it.
When I first not long signed for Aston Villa, and I was on Twitter at the time. I'm not on there now. And we lost 7-1 to Chelsea away. Can you remember?
Yeah.
I put on there, like, sorry to all the Aston Villa fans, don't feel like a footballer today or something like that. Come in the Sunday, Martin's gone, what's this my face Twitter thing you're on? I've gone, do you mean Twitter, boss? He went, yeah. He went, get off that. Deleted it that day, never went back on there.
Really?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, it's just one of those things, but he did.
What was the reaction when you did that, by the way?
I think it's just honesty, I played terrible that day, so I thought it was just go out there and sort of...
Did people appreciate it? Or did you like a load of
Yeah, they
abuse
probably got
underneath it?
abuse. We lost 7-1. I was playing centre half, but there was a few comments like, fair enough, fair play to you for coming out, but Martin wasn't wasn't too happy.
Save that for the post-match interview if you're going to do one at all. The other thing in the Everton game was when Djibril Sidibé was going to come on as a sub, and then he sort of looks down, and Carlo Ancelotti's eyebrow goes, and he realises he's only got one sock on,
and that's just a big eyebrow as well to go, isn't it?
you don't want the Ancelotti eyebrow, but oh my God, one sock. Like, you could understand if he's missing both socks, maybe.
Yeah.
You could understand
But
if
he's got his boot on, hasn't he?
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
So he must have.
So has he put his boot on and not realised he hasn't got a sock?
He must have. He can't have been barefoot in a boot. There must have been an under sock, like
an under sock,
Well,
like a liner, like a trainer liner.
Yeah, like a trainer sock, and then a shin pad. But how's he not even just like? But the funny thing,
like going on, like not even.
He's looked down. He's got his shirt ready. He's looked down. He's gone. Oh shit!
Do you think?
Do you reckon I can style this one out?
I think there's a flicker, isn't there? There is definitely a flicker of. I could maybe get away with this.
I was saying earlier about the old Wivdean, Brighton.
Yeah.
Obviously there was porter cabins at the top and the dugouts were the far end of the running track.
Right. Okay.
So it was a 10-minute walk. I was 16, playing for Cardiff. I think we were in the 3rd division at the time. Alan Cork was manager. Ginger on. Look back, no shirt. But you always didn't put your shirt on, and then you put it on when you're going on. So I'm sat there thinking, I can't go on here. I've got a top.
Yeah.
So I've had to tell him, and he is absolutely fuming. He's made me sprint round to get my shirt. By the time I come back, there's about 2 minutes left of the game. Got fined. First fine.
That's a long run that as well. Yeah. That's a long run. The subs though is a funny thing, isn't it? Because if they done a player cam or like a bench cam when there's a sub, it's like some are really cool and composed, but the majority of them
put one sock on.
The majority of them though, like if someone goes down injured, right? Someone will go, right, go and get warmed up. So then 2 or 3 just start sprinting down, right? And then all of a sudden they'll be like, what should you do? And you're like, right, get him back. You're like, you just told me to fucking warm up. Right? And then some of them can't hear you, so you might as well send them down. You're like when you wait in a restaurant with a buzzer, you might as well send them down with like a buzzer each, and if they go vibrating, then they come back. But managers hate it. If you're not ready, which you can understand, but because the majority of players, they go out with their tracksuits, They don't wear their match shirt. The match shirt's separate. I don't have
got their
pads on.
I remember Big Sam, like boys weren't ready. He would refuse to put them on. He'd end up being who's ready on you, on you go. So the boys who are,
but the ones who's ready,
sat on the bench, you know, it'd be.
And there's some keen ones as well in there. You've got some like as soon as one goes down injured or is even on the way down.
The keen ones, like before they go out, before they even go and sit down on the bench, they're like everything's on.
Yeah.
Like
like
stretching behind the manager.
They got tape on the lot, haven't they? Pads, kit, tape, the whole lot, vast up, everything. Tracksuit over the top. As soon as someone goes down injured, they might sort of get up to warm up and just brush the gaffer's shoulder as well. So he's ready. You ready? Right, it's one of them, seriously. And we've had them all the time.
Really?
Yeah, there's one at every club. Yeah. There's one at every club.
And they get. Is it because they're just desperate to play, or are they just like a bit head boyish?
Yeah, a bit of both probably. A bit more head boyish.
Yeah.
And then you got others that are just chilled out, you know, just on the back.
But I like the idea that they're going out to warm up and then doing all their stretches in front of the bench. The manager's trying to watch the game, and he's like, "No, watch."
Straight.
I'm ready to go.
I must say, I was one of them when I was younger.
Double keen,
just for pure appearance bonus. That's what I was on. So I'd be stretching off behind the boss, like centre forward would go down. I'd be up, warming up, thinking he's going to chuck me on.
I like that. And you're just standing there trying to get his attention.
Yeah,
just going, pick me. I like that.
Have you done a stint centre forward?
Yeah,
I thought so. Yeah,
I made my debut for Cardiff centre forward.
Yeah,
big number 9.
What happened?
Scored on my debut as well.
Yeah, so that was all
I
going well.
signed for Cardiff City from youth team to first team as a centre forward,
and then just gradually started making your way back.
Bobby Gould played a few games, and then Alan Court came in, or Lenny Lawrence came in, and went, "Nah,
not for me. You're a centre half."
He's not a centre half. I think I signed a 5-year deal. He went, "Nah, we'll give him a game at centre half," and then it worked out. Yeah, no, still a bit of a frustrated centre forward now.
Yeah. But I like the idea of that. You start off in one position and then all the way through your career. Yeah. You have a successful career, but you're thinking, just sliding doors. Sliding doors.
So I was a centre half. Went up front, scored a few goals.
Yeah.
And that's it. They went, "No, he's got to be a centre forward." And then realised quite quickly that I wasn't a centre forward and moved back. But I've been chucked on loads of times up top. Need a goal in the FA Cup, Ginge, up you go.
Set pieces.
Just cause more trouble than...
Just go cause havoc up there.
Cause more trouble than good.
Is there anything better than scoring a goal? Like, do you get the same pleasure from defending from, I don't know, keeping a clean sheet or a clearance or something as you do from scoring?
A good clearance off the lines.
Yeah, I used to love it.
And you get up and you give it like
that. No, but I mean,
don't think I ever celebrated. I never got that. The celebrated. The keeper made a good save. I never really got it. Like, I used to love a block, but I can't say I ever celebrated. But I've seen people do it and think, surely that's what you're meant to do. That's what you're paid for, surely.
That's what Zlatan says about scoring, though. He says, "Does a postman celebrate when he delivers a letter?" That's my job. So that's what he says about it.
You're watching Liquid Football on Joe.
Time now for this week's challenge, and this week it is football shirt maths. You will see some famous shirts. All they're missing is the shirt number. You'll guess that, or you will work that out, and then you'll get some simple arithmetic, we think, and then you'll work out who the final shirt belongs to from their shirt number.
Gotcha.
Seems clear. Guests first. So, James, this is your first shirt. Scholes Man United plus Messi Barcelona minus Beckham Real Madrid equals, we'll give you 1 point
minus Beckham.
for each correct shirt number. You get 5 points if you get the final one right.
Scholes 18, Messi 10.
Beckham at Real Madrid.
Minus 23.
Correct. And that equals
10.
What is it? I thought you were joking.
5.
5 is the correct answer. So for your bonus 5 points,
Rio Ferdinand.
Manchester United number 5 is Rio Ferdinand. So that is 4 for each correct number plus 5.
Good start.
Which is 9
Apart
points.
from the maths.
Steve,
yes.
Your first shirt. Roy Keane at Man United, Cristiano Ronaldo at Real Madrid, plus Paolo Maldini at AC Milan equals what?
I knew it.
16 for Keane, 7 for Ronaldo.
Yes.
Maldini's, he's 6. Now, Maldini's thrown me. He was, Baresi was 6, wasn't he? Maldini. Killing me here.
See?
I've got it.
James, for a bonus point?
For the final answer, or Maldini?
Go Maldini first. What was
Maldini 3, 26 JT.
There you go. There you go.
So you get 2 points. Right, James, your next set of shirts.
Oh.
Pele Brazil, Maradona Argentina, times Roberto Carlos
Oh my!
Madrid,
Did you see my maths on the first one?
minus Thierry Henry at Arsenal, minus Patrick Vieira at Arsenal. Let's see what we've got. Pele.
10?
Yeah.
10 Maradona.
These ones at 10 for Maradona.
3 Carlos.
3 for Roberto Carlos.
14 Henry.
Okay.
4 Vieira.
Correct.
Yep.
My
Got
goodness.
Right,
No, just
so-
got to get the maths right.
Yeah. So,
42 Man City.
42 Man City is correct.
Yeah.
And that
Balotelli?
would be
No.
not Balotelli.
Do you know what I was going to say him?
Balotelli was 45, wasn't he? Yaya Toure.
Is correct. There you get your full 11 points. James has 20 points.
What if I got 4?
2.
Oh,
Jesus.
oh wow.
Ronaldo times Totti divided by Gary Neville minus Zola minus Shearer.
Right. Am I right in saying Ronaldo 9,
So Ronaldo 9, yes.
Totti 10,
Totti 10,
G-Nev 2,
yep.
Zola 25,
Zola 25,
Shearer 9.
Shearer 9. Okay, so here we go.
So from that, I've got 9 times 10 divided by 2.
Yeah,
Take away 25, take away 9.
yeah.
Am I left with 11?
You are left with 11.
Gotta be gigs.
Is correct.
Got to be
See,
correct.
now you're on 13 points. Right, James, your next slot is teammates.
Oh, this will be even harder.
Starting with Collins at West Ham. Zavaleta
Oh my
at West Ham.
Lord.
Plus Gareth Bale for Wales. Minus Mark Noble at West Ham.
Collins 19.
Yep.
Zaba 2. No.
No.
5. It's all gone wrong then. Bale 11. Noble
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
19.
Oh, yeah.
Plus 5. 35 minus 16
Yeah.
equals 90.
19.
Well, it's me then.
We got there in the
I was trying to
end.
think.
So 9 points there.
Oh, wow.
Steve, this is just for pride now.
Yeah.
Drogba at Chelsea. Ashley Cole at Chelsea. Minus Steve Sidwell at Chelsea. Minus Steve Sidwell at Fulham equals someone at Brighton.
Drogba 11.
Yeah.
Ashley Cole 3.
Yeah.
Shirt at Chelsea was 9.
Yep.
9.
How I got that, I don't know. Fulham 7.
Yes.
Leaves 17.
Yes.
Glenn Murray.
Is correct. James got 30, but you got 25.
Yeah, that's poor.
That's not bad. The
Yeah,
winner
it's poor.
is James Collins.
Thank you very much.
Class, Ginge. Well done.
Unacceptable maths.
This is Liquid Football on Joe. I'm Kelly Cates. Alongside me, Steve Sidwell and James Collins. If you like what you see and hear, then please leave us a nice review on iTunes or on YouTube. And remember that House of Rugby tomorrow, the boys are going to be discussing the weekend's results in the Six Nations and discussing England's try scorer Ellis Gench, who was on the show recently talking about his interview style.
I'll call a spade, yeah, and I make that quite clear from the off with pretty much everyone I meet.
Why is that?
I think it's just more testament to my old man, really, the way I've been brought up. He's not the loudest voice in the room, but he's a very straightforward bloke. If someone's pissing him off, he's always told me never let someone do X, Y and Z, and it's probably why I'm the way I am. But yeah, I've always been brought up if you're not getting on with something or something's annoying, you never leave it to rest, or like, do you know what I mean? Be reactive, never sort of go away and bitch about things. So if someone asks me a question, I'm going to give them a straightforward answer. But some people like it, some people don't. I mean, I've made friends off it, I've lost friends off it. So I'm not going to lose sleep over it, because at least my head's clear. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going home thinking, fucking hell, I should have said that.
That was England's Ellis Gench, who was criticised for his post-match interview on Saturday, where he referred to critics as sausages. Leeds, talking of critics, they've got plenty of critics at the moment because they lost for the 4th time in 5 league matches on Saturday at Nottingham Forest. Missed out on promotion last season. Are they going to do it again?
I think they're going to slip out. I think. Do you know what?
They're still there now.
They're still there now. Yeah, they're only there on goal difference. Before the weekend, I'd done a show, and I was like, I think they'll just get over the line. I think they're just going to stumble across, because it's pretty similar to when Brighton done it when I was there. We just missed out the first year, and then the second year we got automatic. Yeah. And you're thinking that's going to be the same way this year for Leeds. Just missed out last year. They come out come out the traps. Them West Brom, you're thinking, who's just going to win it? Who's going to be the champions?
Those two, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, exactly the same as last season, they're just gone straight off the rails. And people are saying, is it training regimes? Is it, same team? Is there no rest?
The way they play and the intensity they play at early on in the season, and it doesn't make a lot of changes. He plays the same team pretty much week in, week out. It's got to be having an effect on him in some sort of way. For it to happen last year, and it looks like it could go the same way again this year. It's got to be something like that.
Yes, because it's not just about picking the same team and the effect that can have on the players, although we'll talk about that as well. But it's that he seems to be sticking with players who aren't necessarily putting the performances in. That's just his way, isn't it?
Yeah.
He persists with players.
But then, like, the flip side to that is they was in the same position last season. So you think drawing them experiences, but as we both know in dressing rooms, when you start getting the momentum, especially this stage of the season, and then with it in recent weeks, whether they've been the first team to play first on that weekend or the Friday night, or the other team is, because now the TV schedules get put differently. So someone plays before you start getting nervous, and it's like, bloody hell. Yeah,
especially when you've been up there most of the pretty much all of last season and most of this season. When it starts wobbling, it's hard to get out of it sometimes.
Because it's hard not to look at Bielsa and think that this is a pattern with him, and the sort of criticism is that he puts so much on, so he makes so many demands on the players, physically, mentally, and in the Championship as well, which is such a tough. It's a relentless league, and there's always weird results in the Championship. It's never a straightforward division, and it's just. Do you think that's having an effect on the players?
It must be. I mean, you can just imagine. We've seen documentaries, haven't we, about the attention to detail that he goes in, not just obviously in training sessions. Obviously, the analysis meetings after, they must go on for God knows how long, because he loves to ramble on a little bit, doesn't he?
5 questions, 59 minutes, his last press conference.
Well, imagine what his analysis means. I mean, we've been in dressing rooms ourselves on a Monday when you go into analysis, 10, 15 minutes tops. Yeah. Done, in, out. I mean, they must. I'm thinking they probably go on longer.
Yeah, I've been in one with Sam Allardyce. Though we'd lose. I remember one Sunday we obviously lost at West Ham quite badly. He had us in 6 o'clock Sunday morning, watched the whole game.
Oh my!
Martin used to do it. Remember Martin used to put a game on the bus now and then, and just make you watch the whole game. And like you say, Bielsa is attention to detail.
Yeah,
those meetings could be.
You say there about Martin. It's quite similar to what we had at Villa, wasn't it? Yeah. When we was there. We had a spell, didn't we? We finished 5th or 6th 3 years in a row, and I think there was a couple of seasons where it got to March, and we was 10 points or 8 or 10 points clear of Arsenal in third. We was third, they was fourth. We was nailed on to near enough get top 4. Yeah, and then by the end of sort of March, beginning of April, Arsenal had caught us up, and the build up to that season, though. So throughout the season, it was the same team, same teams. That was Martin. That's what he was known for. Same team,
unless
same subs.
There was an injury.
Yeah.
It would be that'd be his thing. Straight in, same team, same subs as last week. But
we was actually going to buy a racehorse and call it same team, same subs in the Villa colours. Same team, same subs round the outside.
It'd be all right till it got to about 2/3 of the way through.
Get to March, didn't run it in March.
But for that, you know yourself, like as you get a sense, don't you? As much as you can kind of explain things and analyse things, and as much as they will be explaining and analysing things at Leeds, there's just a sense you know what direction you're going in, and that almost seems like, because you can't explain it, that almost feels like the hardest thing to turn around.
And it literally is momentum. And the worst thing is when you're going through that, whether it's one way or the other, it's obviously worse when you're losing. But when you've got someone like Fulham, Forest, that are in there that have just flying, trading wins out, going through it, you're thinking, wow, this is going to be another one of them seasons.
And they'll be getting more nervous week by week as well if they're not picking up wins. You know how it is as players.
Of course you will.
Especially with it being the second time.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, everyone wants Leeds to be in the Prem, don't they? I mean, it's a massive football club. They want their fan base to be there. It's been a long time.
Maybe not Fulham or Forest fans.
No, not them ones, no. But I think the majority do want them to come up. So there's loads of pressure on them. I think they're just gonna fall short. Of automatic. I think there'll be playoffs, obviously.
Yeah.
Then obviously we'll see if they can get through that.
Yeah. It's just tail different looks.
Every day going in.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's February. There's still a good bit of the season still to go if they want to turn it around. It's just how they manage to do that. Would you go and speak to the manager?
What, Bielsa?
I wouldn't be going to speak to Bielsa.
Who's the designated spokesman for all that?
I wouldn't have thought those lads are going in. You can tell the way he is in the press, and like we spoke about, his the way he builds up to games and that, I don't think any of
Yeah.
those Leeds boys will be going in saying they're training too hard or need a rest. I think they'll just let him crack on.
Some managers might pull some of the senior figures out of the dressing room and go, listen, what's going on? What's the vibe in there? Is there anything that we can do different? You know, like
it's a funny one though, because he does play the same sort of team, but it's I've been playing like when Martin was doing it. Some games I was thinking I probably deserve to be dropped.
Yeah.
And I like felt,
you know, you said a minute ago,
boys who weren't.
I didn't say he should be dropped.
boys
playing the same players.
Boys who weren't playing. I certainly did. I don't know if it was just me. Feel bad for them training as hard as they can. Like you was one of the best trainers I ever played with, and sometimes you wouldn't. Well, a lot of time at the moment you didn't play. Not embarrassed, but you say the same team again, you'd be like, wow, I don't not 100%. I deserve. I should be playing, but that's what he did. Same team, same subs. Yeah.
So what
else is the same?
Would he be asking? Would Martin O'Neill be the kind of manager who would ask what was going on in the dressing room, or was he someone that players would go to and say, "Look, it just doesn't feel right," or there's a
No.
I think he would be the same kind of mould as Bielsa. Well, I think obviously playing under him, but in terms of Bielsa, I don't think you have a player that would go on and question his management or his
what he was doing,
style or his tactics, anything like that. It would be a case of whatever we go in and say, he's not going to change. It's his way or the highway. I would assume from the outside.
mind you, what would you have said? If you'd gone in, what would you have wanted to change? Because that's the thing. It's all very well and good.
It was a drop me gaffer. I'm not playing well enough.
It's all very well and good going in and saying to him, can I have a word? Things aren't going well. And he's like, I know. Anything else?
We didn't have to. Apart from the players who weren't playing, the boys who were playing were buzzing. You're playing every week. You give us quite a lot of time off. So there was nothing ever to be said. We were doing FA Cup semi-final, League Cup final when I went there the first year. So it was like happy as Larry, you know, it was crack on.
I think when you're in that situation, the key to it is you just don't go away from what's got you there.
Yeah.
So, you know, they've been all through last season, all this season. They're there for a reason. For whether it's been a few bad luck results that's gone their way, or a few down performances, but don't start trying different things. Just keep to the tactics, do what we've done all season, and we'll come good.
Yeah, that seems to be the mantra at Leeds at the moment. You wouldn't go and say to a manager if you felt that you weren't maybe playing that well or deserving of your place. You wouldn't go and say, "Do you know what? Seriously, this week don't worry about me." You'd never do that, though, would you?
It's ever been done, would it?
I think the only one. Did you play in the game? Sol Campbell at Highbury.
I did.
West Ham. Did you play with?
I think I was on the bench. Yeah. Bobby that day. Bobby Zamora.
Yeah.
Solid. Might have been I think we were the last team to beat him at Highbury. And that was the game. Sol got a cab home at half time.
He come off at half time. I think he actually said he was.
I think he said, "I'm
not in the mental state."
Yeah, not in the mental state or something. But Bobby Zamora absolutely wiped the floor with him that day. And obviously the play he had been, I think he went in half time and said, "Look, I need to come off here. I can't play in this game." And he took him off, and I think we beat.
I don't know what the reasons were around it, whether it was private life or whatever, but you don't see many players doing it.
Yeah, unless it was for like physical or mental health reasons, like strong reasons rather than
I think he was at fault just down to just being 3 goals
but not just down to being a bit off form. No. Not just to kind of go.
Yeah. The gaffer, that must be a first for a gaffer.
What? Yeah. That's not to play.
You've done me a right foul. What's good? You've done me a right foul.
Would you ever play again if you did that? If you went up to a manager and said, I'm not really at the top of my game, so probably best if you don't play me.
You might play at a different club, but
talking about players who are not at the top of their game, did you see the penalty shootout in the Japanese Super Cup? So Vissel Kobe and Kashima Antlers, they missed 9 penalties in a row. 9. You did see it, didn't you? It's like,
I did see it.
I mean, is any sympathy, or is it
I mean, that's just
not
an
right?
absolute shower of shit. That's terrible.
How is that even possible to miss 9 on the bounce?
Do you think if like sort of 3 or 4 are missed in a row, like the next person who goes up to take a penalty is sitting there going, "Oh, for God," like would it start to play on your mind a bit, or would you just?
I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking someone's having it bang off on the betting scheme.
That's what I was thinking.
I think
obviously we can't say that.
You're watching that, but it's like if you put that Benny Hill music on, it's all different penalties.
It's like watching Diana Ross in the '94 World Cup.
It's like, what is going on? I mean, It's unexplainable, isn't it? I mean, to miss penalties. I mean, I've missed a few penalties in my time, but to do 9 in a row is some feat.
Yeah.
Never happen again.
Would you put yourself forward for penalty shootouts though, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I've done one for Fulham in the League Cup. I think it was against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
Where were you
And I think I was 2 or 3.
Okay.
And I remember David
So
Luiz.
no chance of you not having to take it then.
Well, David Luiz scored before me, and when he was walking back to halfway and I was walking past him, he actually gave me a shoulder barge. He actually shoulder barged me. And I sort of turned around and I was like, what's all that about? I'd never seen that before.
No.
But yeah, there's been a few. But then it's mad, how some people you get like so confident on a pitch that when it comes to penalty shootouts, some of them don't even watch, they turn around.
Mark Noble, taking West Ham's penalties for years, will not go near one in training. Never take a penalty in training. I've never seen him. Doesn't practice them. He just takes them in the game.
Well, it works though, doesn't it?
Exactly. Can't really remember him missing one. But obviously we had the FA Cup final lost on penalties 2006 West Ham. I think we only scored one that day.
No,
I was on the bench. I was on the bench. I'm not sure I would have been. I'm not sure I would have been volunteering that day, to be honest with you.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because you just cannot practice. You can practice as much as you want, but you just can't recreate and can't relive in training the pressure.
Because what people who don't play say is that if you get your muscle memory right, then when you're in a position of real tension and the nerves are really heightened, that you should be able to kind of just deliver. That's what people who don't play say. But if you are in that situation, does it feel like that? Does it work that way in practice?
In practice, you know you're going to score. It's like ONeill, you're so confident.
No, I mean in a game. Sorry, not. But I mean like if in theory it works that way. But actually, when you go to do it,
no.
You're praying. When you go to do it, you just pray, please let this go in.
Hit it clean and just pray it goes in. Like those boys who took it for West Ham, I think it was tricky anyway because of the way we got to penalties. Extra time, we thought we had won it.
The Gerrard goal,
Gerrard
wasn't
scored
it?
late on, and then like you say, I think 3 lads missed. Bobby, Anton, and Conch maybe missed them.
Okay.
And they said it's the most terrifying thing they've ever done. Like in football, obviously FA Cup final for West Ham, but I wouldn't have been volunteering. If I was on the pitch, I wouldn't have been volunteering, I can assure you.
But that surprises me because I would think you would be the kind of player who would.
I used to volunteer, but sort of get overlooked quite a lot.
Not the full kit wanker in front of me, keen as mustard.
Ginger's on the bench, but he's got his kit off, waiting, like take a penalty. But I did get overlooked quite a lot. Yeah. I just used to head down, smash it straight down the middle, and hope for the best.
but I just think, and especially in a shootout, when you've got your place in the pecking order, like you say, David Luiz coming up and shoulder barging you, that feeling when it gets closer to your turn. Yeah. Because at the beginning you're sort of thinking, it must be different. He scores, so you sort of feel a bit better, or
it's just it's out of body experience, isn't it? You're taken right out of your comfort zone. Yeah. And I think probably the best way to try and mindset is just don't care. If you score, you score. If you miss,
you can't do that.
But I know. But do you know why I say that? Troy Deeney the other month when he said when the report was about pressure, and he was like, pressure. Like my mum's had 3 jobs and stuff. And I was like, wow. But that's
right. Really. But it struck a chord with a lot of people who are watching as well. But that's a really hard thing to do, to put your life into perspective in that way. Like he can do it, which is great. Yeah. But it's not an easy thing to do. Because your life comes down to those few seconds, doesn't it? That walk up to the penalty spot and the fact that there's all that kind of responsibility on your shoulders. It's not easy at that point to go, it's not, well, at least I'm not doing X, Y and Z.
And we've seen some of the greatest players in the world, haven't we? Miss penalty. I mean, like Shevchenko, Istanbul, wasn't it? Liverpool. Yeah. Missed. There's loads. The list goes on, and it doesn't matter who they are. The top penalty takers have all missed, so you can't.
And that's only down to pressure.
Yeah.
It's not.
You can't legislate.
It's some of the penalty shootouts, where people have missed massive penalties, the walk back.
The walk there as well.
The walk back.
If you're standing on the halfway line and somebody's got and they've missed a penalty.
You come back, unlucky, mate. Yeah.
What you thinking? I just coming back seeing all your team, looking at their faces, knowing that they're just pretending to be nice to you. That can't be nice.
He just said, didn't he? Don't worry, mate. Fuck.
Yeah. Absolutely am with him, really.
I bet it's a good way to win it, though. It is a good way to win it. And that is it for this episode of Liquid Football from Joe. And thank you very much to Steve Sidwell and to James Collins. We're available every Monday. You can download the podcast or you can watch us on YouTube. Please leave us a nice review on iTunes if you like what you hear. And we've got a Facebook page. If you search for Liquid Football, you can join in the chat on there as well. Remember to check out our other shows, House of Rugby with James Haskell and TKO with Carl Frampton. For now, though, thank you very much for listening.
You've been watching Liquid Football on Joe.